Hey guys, just going to make a quick video for you on how to color separate in Adobe Photoshop for screen printing. We're going to be doing this in the Channels tab, but for now we're going to stay on the layers because we're going to do a few things before we get started with the actual separations. First off, you want to make sure that you're in RGB. It needs to be in RGB mode. If it's not, go to Image, Mode, and then RGB. Okay, so that's good. The next thing we're going to check is the image size. 300 dpi, that's good. Some people do more, that's fine too. 300 minimum. And then for here, it all depends on what size shirts you're printing and all that stuff. Where I'm at, our max width is 12 wide. So that's just kind of a starting point. So we're gonna crop out all this excess here because we don't need that and it's just gonna waste film. So we're gonna grab our crop tool and we'll slide these in right to the image. And we'll adjust the height here in a minute. So we're gonna go ahead and drag out our lines because we're gonna add some crosshair marks. So I put these lines ½ inch from the image. That gives a good consistency when you're laying the film on the screens. Alright, so I've got another file open here. This is my crosshairs. You can see we're at about almost 10. So we'll grab this 9-inch. We'll drag it over. I'm going to zoom in. We'll get that centered. And then Command T so we can resize it, and then hold Option down and that'll keep it centered, and we're going to drag us right to the edge. And now you can see that's centered still, and this one drug to the edge as well. Command 0 will zoom out, and then we're going to Command click inside the box here to select these, Command C to copy, Command D to deselect, and then we're going to zoom in down here, and we're going to Command V to paste those marks, and we'll get these centered. Alright, so we'll zoom out, and then I drag this below this 9-inch, that way I don't have to relabel it. We'll hold Shift and select them both, and then Command E will merge those two together. So now we've got one layer, that's our marks. Alright, we'll zoom out a little bit here, and now we'll crop out that top section because we don't need it. Alright, so now so we've got our image we're going to print, we got our marks set, so now we're going to go to the channels. First thing we're going to do is we're going to click these 3 little lines here and select New Spot Channel. We're going to call this Shirt. And so whatever shirt your color you're printing on, we'll just pick an orange here. Alright, so now we're on the shirt. We're going to go to Edit, Fill. We're going to fill it black and 100%. Make sure the mode is normal. Click OK. And so now it's filled it black. It looks orange because that's the color that we gave it. If you turn this off, you see it's actually filled black. So we're going to go back to RGB and turn this eyeball off so you can see your image area again. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to New Spot Channel. We'll call this one Base. I'm going to pick a white. Click OK. And make sure it's 100% solidity. Colors white, base, OK. And so I like to go ahead and just pick all my colors out, and then we'll go in and fill them in. So we're going to select new spot color again. I'll delete that out of there. And so here you can, if you have Pantone colors that you know you're using, you can select them here. We'll just pick some. That'll be our light blue new spot channel. And we're going to pick out our greenish blue. That doesn't have to be perfect. We're just, there we go. Now, gray. So we'll just call this gray. If you don't have a Pantone number picked out, you can do that later. Let's pick a gray. And now we'll do our highlight white. I'll call it highlight. Click OK. And now black. That's our last color. Click OK. So we'll turn all these eyeballs off. And we're going to go back to RGB. And we're going to go up here and we're going to select by color range. And we're going to do, for the base, we're going to have the white. And then if you hold shift, you see that little plus sign pops up. You'll hold shift and select gray, the light blue, and then this greenish blue. And we don't need the black because it doesn't get underbased. So we'll move this slider. You can see the fuzziness. If you slide it back and forth, it'll start picking up the black. We want to make sure we're not, so we're going to drag it back this way. Click OK. Now we've got our selection. We'll click on our base. And then we're going to choke it back by 2 pixels. That way, you know, the machines aren't perfect, and if your base is the full size of your color, a little bit of shift on a certain board or something like that, it's going to have the white peeking out. So we're going to fix that here so you don't have that problem on the machine. We're going to select, modify, contract, and we're going to contract by 2 pixels. Let's click OK. Now we're going to go up to Edit, Fill, and we're going to fill it black 100% normal. And we'll deselect. So that's our base. And so it's black, but we've allocated the white color to it. So when we turn a shirt on, you can see that it is white. Alright, so now we'll go back to RGB. And this is our light blue. We'll select, color range, and we're going to click on just the light blue this time. And you can see the face is showing up a little bit here. We're going to use this slider, kind of slide it down so we're only getting that light blue. Click on this one, Edit, Fill, 100% black. Deselect. And we'll just keep doing that all the way through. Go back to RGB. This is our greenish blue. Select color range. And that's our tie. Edit, Fill, black 100%. Deselect. We'll just do this over and over. Alright, see here you can see it's picking up some little fringe pixels. I'll show you how to clean that up. You can move this slider, but sometimes you can't get them all out. So we'll just clean it up. On our gray, fill, 100% black. Now you see these little, we'll zoom in a little bit. You can see these little fringe pixels. So we're going to pick our brush tool. And since it only works in black and white, we'll make sure we're on our correct layer, and we've got white selected here. And we're going to paint over this, so it'll just erase it all. Anywhere you don't want it. Alright, so that's cleaned up. Go back to RGB. We're going to select our highlight, fill, 100% black, deselect. I'm not using the hotkeys, that way you guys can see what I'm doing. It's a lot faster if you know the hotkeys to use. Let's clean this up. Last one, black. Select color range, black, and you see it's picking up some stuff in here, so we're going to slide this. Actually, we've got two different blacks here, so I'm going to hold shift again and we'll select several areas of black, so we'll make sure we're getting it all. Sometimes that happens. Click OK, and it's picking up our registration marks. That's fine because we're going to add those anyway. Fill, 100% black. Alright, so now that's all of them. We've got our shirt, our base, our light blue, dark, and our gray, highlight white, and our black. So now we're going to go back to our layers, and we're going to command click inside this box here and get our selection of our marks. Command C, and we'll start here. I start at the bottom usually. Command V, we're going to paste them in. Command V, Command V, Command V on all of these. Paste them all in. So now they all have marks on them in the same spot. And then we'll just zoom in, get our text. I use Arial black for my labels. 40. And then you gotta make sure this is black, otherwise you won't see it. And we'll just label them all. Base. Light blue. And then if you have a number. And then I always drag them over. And we'll just do that all the way down. Whoops. Just label them all. Alright, zoom out. We'll take a look here. Base. They're all labeled. They all have marks. Turn them all on. We can take a look at our film. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We can go back and we'll check these just to make sure we have 100% fill. So I turn all of these off, and then we'll go up here to our info tab. And so right here is black, and we want it to say 100%. So see, it's at 0, and when we go over, yeah, see, this is only at 98%. I thought this might happen because of the two selections of black. So this is at 100. This is at 96. So you can't see it here, but when this prints off on your film outputter, it's going to have a halftone in it. It would be very slight, and it probably wouldn't even show up. You wouldn't be able to tell once it printed. But we're going to fix it so that we're at 100% like the rest of the image. So we're just going to go up here, make sure we're on our black, and we're going to go up here to Image, Adjustments, and Curves. And we're just going to drag this down. Just drag it way down. Click OK. And now look, when we're going over this, it's at 100%. We'll check some other areas. If you have similar colors, sometimes this happens when you're using the fuzziness slider of the selector, and it leaves a little halftone. So it's good to check. We'll check this blue too to make sure, since so this up here, 100%. You don't have to check the whole image, but just kind of go around it. And then this, we'll zoom in a little. Yeah, it's all 100%. So that's gonna print off nice. Yep, looks good. So now, when you go to print these off, depending on what kind of a film outputter you're using, you would just turn all the eyeballs off and then select the one you want to print, and then go to print. Which I'm not hooked up to a outputter, but you would set all your settings, however, whatever you're using, and that's it. That's all your film steps. If you guys like the video, like and subscribe, and maybe I'll do some more advanced ones later on, as far as like halftones and gradients and um, more complex images and simulated process, stuff like that. Just let me know. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them.